military action be required, this will not be another Vietnam. This will not be a protracted, drawn-out war.
All right, y'all. We are here at the channel. We are going live for the news about what's going on right now. I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous, y'all. I mean, we out here, we out here acting like we protecting the immigrants that we're literally sitting here trying to take care of. Taxpayers are paying for these people. We're losing money because they are here. Do y'all not understand this? Don't get it. Let's get to and see. The woman literally almost runs the ICE agent over. Oh, I don't know. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not sure if it was an ICE agent or if it was actually local authorities, but she literally almost runs him over. I think she actually does hit him a little. I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't really seen the video that many times. I've just watched it one or two times, and I was shocked. Let's get to it.
After an ICE-involved shooting. These are live pictures from Minneapolis. There are videos, as we speak, going around social media showing what happened earlier today between protesters and ICE. We're working on bringing you those videos. You can see one of them on your screen as we speak. Basically, here's what it describes. It shows agents in a truck pulling up to a car that appears to be blocking the road. The two agents get out. They walk up to the driver's side of the car. From there, things escalate quickly. One agent touches the car, and the driver starts driving backwards with the agent's hand still on the car.
So right there, you see that? You see where he shot. Now, they try to say that the officer on the side of the car is the one shot, but he wasn't the one that shot. It was the officer in front because they show, I'm not sure what they showed in this one, but they showed where the bullet entrance was in front windshield. So it had to be for the officer in the front. I mean, you could see clearly that the officer that was standing beside the window didn't reach around and shoot through the front windshield of the car.
The driver then hits the gas while another agent appears to be standing in front of the vehicle. That agent, more in front of the car, appears to open fire as the car.
Now, the agent just a few weeks before actually got drugged by a car in Minneapolis. So, I mean, he had the right. If you're going to sit there and viciously try to run an officer over, they have the right to defend themselves. You're using it as a car as a weapon.
Car barrels towards him. DHS telling Fox News the officer who fired the shots had been dragged by a car last June in Minneapolis. We've since learned the driver of the car who was shot was a 37-year-old woman. She was killed. President Trump has weighed in just the last 30 minutes. He wrote, "I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. It is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety. But the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to..."
Yeah, so what they're doing is the government is telling the law enforcement police force not to do anything to the protesters so they can keep on going and everything else. So it looked like it's the administration's fault that all this is happening. That way they get a big crowd going on. So if we have to bring the military in, that way it looks like we're bullying our towns, our states, but really we're not. We have to have order, all right, and order in way for us to actually coexist with each other. If not, we're going to kill each other, as you see. You have to have law and order, or you're going to have chaos. Chaos. I mean, look what's going on in France. So, crying out loud. I mean, it's plain and obvious. You have to have order. If you don't have order, you're going to have chaos. Trust me, I've seen chaos. I know how chaos is. I've seen it firsthand. But let's keep going on.
Stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. Now, not long after the incident, just a few hours ago, we saw chaos already beginning between law enforcement and rioters on the streets of Minneapolis. Watch.
Okay, so for one, I don't down protesting. Okay, I don't down that at all. And that, I mean, that's how we let the government know that, you know, they're doing things that we don't like. But legally protesting, not illegally, legally, like not blocking the streets, not blocking the roads so cars can't come by, not throwing rocks or pieces of cement or pieces of the curb at law enforcement agencies. I mean, that's ridiculous. Act like adults, not children. And that's what they're acting like, is a bunch of kids. So what happens when you continue to let a kid keep on stealing a piece of candy, or keep on letting them run off and not do anything about it? What they do, they get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So you have to do something. You have to discipline your kids so they know what's right and wrong. Same thing with this. I know I hate to say that we're a bunch of kids out here, but a lot of us act like that. But anyway.
Get back! Right in the face! Get back! All that video! Kill someone else! Kill someone else! Don't get killed for this thing. It's not worth it,
Go another way! Move! Go another way! Move! Go another way!
So you hear them telling the officer to go another way? They're blocking a government road. For one. For two, they can get them for a mob act right there. Now they know this, right? Like against law enforcement agencies. Like, do they know this? Like, it's cool and all to go out protest and be cool about it, and like, you know what I'm saying, and hold signs or whatever you're gonna do. But now, when you're gonna go and start assaulting officers with your vehicle, you're gonna turn out on the wrong end of the stick. Let me just tell you that. Now, you see that guy right there in front of the vehicle right there? So what you need to do to him is throw him in a box, not a cat coffin, throw his ass in jail for a couple weeks, let him go in there and see how it is, so he gets a little bit of taste of freedom or non-freedom for a little bit, and then he'll see how it is. And then he'll come out and actually act like a normal decent human being. Because that's ridiculous. All he's doing is creating more of a drama situation, of a hostile situation. It's crazy.
Get out of the way! Get out! Chris, get out the way! Get out the way of the truck!
Tenth.
Do they know what they're even doing? Like, they're trying to stop the agents from deporting people that's not paying taxes. That's sending all our money back home. That's not the main thing. But another thing is, they're literally are getting criminals that's already committed crimes already. For one, the first crime is they broke our law and crossed our border without going through dues and processing. But another thing is these are murderers, gang members, rapists, child molesters. It's all down the line. People from mental institutions. It's crazy of all these people that's in our country right now. And Trump's only doing what he said that he was going to do the whole time he was running for president. And that is get all the illegal immigrants that's illegal out of here. I don't see him deporting nobody that has legalization here in the United States.
In a city that not even 6 years ago was destroyed by political tension, by lawlessness, by agitators. And on that note, not long after that moment you saw on your screen, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey held a news conference where he basically begged for this to be 2026 George Floyd.
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
Trust me, I have a lot to say about.
And see, you're supposed to be a political figure, but instead of trying to defuse the situation, he's escalating it by saying, ICE, get out of our city. For one, it's not even his city. It's not their city. It's the United States. If you get that. I mean, I don't understand I understand that they govern themselves, but they get federally funded. They know this, right? But, anywho.
Mayor Jacob Frey and how he's handling what's happening in Minneapolis. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But just in the last few minutes, Democrat Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also found a podium.
I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops.
Weird line. Our National Guard troops in Minnesota, seemingly pitting them against the United States of America. First, though, I want to go to Fox News correspondent Mike Tobin, who's on the scene in Minneapolis. He's been there all afternoon, where there are a lot of protesters and law enforcement officials on the scene. What's happening right now, Mike?
Well, this is a crowd that is left over at the scene where the woman was shot there. We saw the crowd dissipate largely when law enforcement stood down. They took the friction point away, if you will, and a large crowd of protesters followed them marching north on the street here. There were some objects thrown at that time, but the situation is pretty calm right now. I'd say there are about 150 people hanging around the scene where that woman was shot. Now, incidentally, Secretary Kristi Noem has weighed in on this. She called the use of the vehicle domestic terrorism.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day.
Now, the narrative that the officer fired in self-defense or the defense of his fellow officers, Mayor Jacob Frey called that BS. He didn't use the acronym. And the Governor Walz weighed in on it. He said, don't believe the propaganda. Now, we do know from a DHS source who was speaking to John Roberts that the agent who fired the shot was involved in a vehicle.
And not, I mean, I was going to say something. These people that they're assaulting, these officers that are assaulting, they're not just ICE agents or sheriff's officers and everything. They're their neighbors. They're not just, they're saying get out of our state. They're literally sheriff and town officers and stuff there. It's crazy. Crazy.
A vehicular dragging incident last June was dragged by a vehicle, that particular officer. Also, since January of 2025, there have been 100 vehicular attacks while the agents are responding to different scenes and conducting their operations. Having done ride-alongs with the agents, I can tell you that the vehicular aggression is pretty frequent. And
All right, and another thing, you have an officer in front of your car with his gun drawn on you. Your first thought is run him over. It's good logic, isn't it? It's definitely gonna work out for you. Hearts out to the family of the suspect, you know, and prayers out to y'all. But that was just reckless on their part.
the feeling of the agents is it was just a matter of time before someone got hurt. Will?
Well, thank you so much, Mike Tobin. Now, in addition to revisiting the rhetoric of Jacob Frey, Tim Walz, and other Democratic politicians when it comes to ICE, we will be talking about the legality of this incident, the shooting in Minneapolis. But we have new video that we want to show you from the moment of the attack. This is a more wide view. We're working on a spot shadow for this video to show you exactly where to train your eyes so you can see more clearly. But it appears from this angle that you can see the agent was in front of the vehicle. There are a lot of angles out there, many of them circulating social media. We're trying to get clearance to bring many of those to air. But there are angles that show exactly the dynamics, the split-second calculations of an ICE agent on scene when a car accelerates into them.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Ryan Nobles in Washington as we continue to follow the breaking news out of Minneapolis. where demonstrators are gathering. An FBI investigation is underway, and local officials are livid after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE officer in her car during an immigration operation earlier today. The accounts of the officer-involved shooting coming from federal and local officials are wildly different. The Homeland Security Secretary is alleging the woman who was killed was carrying out an act of domestic terrorism. Minnesota's governor calling that description, quote,
I mean, she was. I mean, let's say I try to run you over, all right, or one of y'all over, all right, are y'all just going to stand there and let me do it? Or if I do hit you, you think the law enforcement's not going to come arrest me for it? So same concept here. She's literally trying to run the officer over with her vehicle while he has the gun drawn on her already. He's already telling her that he's an assault figure. At a posture, you know what I'm saying? So, like, why are you going to sit there and try to assault him when he's already at a compact posture? I don't know. It don't make no logic to me.
Propaganda. NBC News has obtained video from multiple angles of the incident recorded by witnesses as ICE was carrying out what DHS described as an enforcement operation. Now, we do want to warn you that the video you're about to see is disturbing. Now, as we show you this video again, slowed down, authorities say the woman shot and killed was 37 years old and was not a target of the ICE operation. In a statement, DHS said, quote, an ICE officer fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. The alleged perpetrator was hit.
I was trying to see if you could see if
thankfully the ICE officers who were hurt,
if she actually ran over his foot or something, but yet she still hit him with his car or her car. She did, and he was clearly in front of her, and clearly had his gun drawn, and the other officers telling her to stop.
are expected to make full recoveries. That is a statement from DHS. Here's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem addressing the incident.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
Now, some eyewitness accounts and the video you just watched dispute that characterization of what happened, with members of the community calling for ICE to leave the city during protests near the scene of the shooting, and the city's mayor sending this message to federal agents.
Not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is to ICE. Get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz announcing minutes ago that he was issuing a warning order to prepare the National Guard while pushing back against the administration's deployment of federal agents.
We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're
Now, you heard him where he said that the National Guard is ours. He said they're ours. They're not his. Or the states. They're the government. The National Guard is part of the government. And I understand they got local National Guard and everything, but they're still part of the federal government.
teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Now, today's shooting comes in the midst of an escalating feud between state and local officials and the federal government, not just over an intensifying immigration crackdown, but also over allegations of fraud involving some Somali residents. Joining me now is NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley, NBC News White House reporter Monica Alba, and Jim Kavanaugh, a retired ATF special agent in charge and now an NBC News law enforcement analyst. So, Julia, let's start with you. What do we know exactly about what happened in Minneapolis today?
Well, two competing narratives, as you just laid out, Ryan. What we heard from Secretary Kristi Noem was that this was an incident of domestic terrorism in which a woman tried to ram her video into ICE officers as they dug their car out of the snow. The video does not show that. In fact, this woman is in her car in the middle of the road, could be blocking them from getting to where they need to go when she is approached by the ICE officers. Now, I've spoken to some senior DHS officials who say that the way the officers approach the car is not according to their training, that they are not ever supposed to go to the front of the car. They would always want to approach at a 90-degree angle. So that's the first thing I'm learning that seems out of character, at least with what they are trained to do. Also, what we heard then from eyewitnesses was that they believed that this woman was trying to leave. Now, the angle of the video, it's hard to determine if the officer who fired the shots from the front of the vehicle could see or would at least assume that she was trying to turn her wheel and go in the other direction, or whether she was trying to move toward him. This is the kind of thing, typically, Ryan, you would find out these details during the course of an ongoing investigation. But instead today, both sides very quick to give their version, their account of exactly how this went down. The question remains here, was this woman attempting to leave a situation she found herself in, or was she, as the Department of Homeland Security is laying out, using her vehicle as a weapon to intentionally hurt that ICE officer? Of course, Minnesota and Minneapolis leaders pushing back fiercely, saying she was not and that she was an innocent person. One thing's clear, this is the new flashpoint of immigration here.
Okay, Julia, stand by. Thank you for that. Jim and Monica, you stand by as well. But we're going to dip in and listen to Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota, who is talking right now about this incident.
To so randomly and senselessly lose somebody that they love while they're sitting in their car, it's just unbelievable. And it shows how ICE is making my city so much less safe.
What specifically in the video makes you mistrust what the administration has said? What from what you've seen gives you that impression?
Well, I start from the fundamental position that when you have an event like this, you have a killing like this, there is an investigation. You bring in people who know how to do investigations to understand exactly what happened. And yet the President of the United States and the Secretary have been just pronouncing what they think happened. I mean, I can see with my own eyes what millions of people have now seen in this video, and it is certainly hard to see how in this video you see any evidence that this woman rammed, ICE agents who are trying to dig their car out of a snowbank. So this is, again, why it's so important that we have a thorough investigation, because we're going to want justice here.
Now, you see how she tried to play it off to where where it wasn't the officer's fault, or it wasn't the defendant's fault. Now, like I said before, God bless and prayers out to the family. I hate to see anybody lose a loved one like that. That is so sad. But there was a lot of mistakes there, from the law enforcement side and from the person that got shot side. And like I said before, prayers out to the woman and their family. They need to do a proper investigation, that's for sure. But she did try to run over the officer.
What have you learned from your conversations with DHS?
Well, so I called, my office reached out to DHS as soon as this event happened, urging them to get ICE away from this scene. The presence of ICE at the scene of this killing was provocative. It was fueling people's rage and anger and grief, and so that was my first call. My second outreach to them has been to try to understand how I can kind of bring together what the secretary said about what she has apparently concluded happened with the video that millions of Americans are looking at. And I've asked to see, like, what is your, what do you...
Now, what I want to know is, was she an immigrant? Was she American? Like, these are things that we should know too. Because if she wasn't an immigrant, then why was the ICE agent even proceeding to open the door and stuff? Like, that's what don't make no sense to me. But I'm not trying to defend either the ICE agents or the person that got shot or anything, or going with either side. I'm just trying to figure out the facts here as well as everybody else. But it does look like she tried to run the officer over as he's in a combat posture too. So I don't know, man. Like I said, prayers out to the family. To the victim, and her significant loved ones. I hate to see anybody lose a family member. I know how it is. I've lost my family members, my mom, and everybody. So I mean, I know how it is, and God bless you, Mom. And Dwighty too. Just want to say prayers out and hats off to them. They raised a decent man. It took me a little bit, but I finally got there. But anyway, they need to do a proper investigation and figure out what all happened, and we need all the body cams, every single one of them. I like to see the footage. I know we won't probably see them, but it'd be pretty cool if we could. But anyway, I'm going to stay in tune with this right here, plus what's going down with the Russia and U.S. situation, like we talked about earlier in the beginning of the day stream. If y'all haven't checked that out, go back and check it out, so y'all keep in a loop about what's going on with the Russia and U.S. Russia has threatened to bomb our ships. But anyway, and further ado, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and like button if y'all like the channel. I sure appreciate it. It's a big boost to the channel. I really appreciate all the subscribers that we have already. Big thanks to all y'all. Like I said, once we get to the 500, we can get our drawing on. Haven't forgot about y'all. We was clicking pretty fast. Now we're just ticking along, but we're still getting there. Soon we hit that 500, we're going to go in at the drawing. Make sure y'all drop in and keep in tune about what's going on. All right. Well, until next time, I hope y'all God bless.